Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing a review of the Warriors of the Deep action figure set. It's the 23rd of February as of this recording. This is this might be one of the shorter ideally reviews on the channel, action figure reviews on the channel, ideally because the battery on the video camera is somewhat running out. But I was also going to say I've totally forgotten to open my blinds, so the lighting's terrible. That's probably why. Although hopefully there still will be light coming out of the blinds. Anyway, what was the other thing I was going to say? I was going to say that basically, I'm going to briefly mention as well the controversy in inverted commas, which is kind of annoying to have to even bring up, but basically the day before this was announced, this set officially announced, there was rumours a day or so beforehand that they were doing a Warriors of the Deep 3-pack with Silurians, and people were the only way I can really describe that at all, but how people felt was somewhat pissed. People were pissed because there was a sort of group of people who were very adamant and saying that they wanted new series action figures, which is kind of ironic because I feel like a lot of the, not all, but some of these people were the same people who would say that but then bitch that they don't actually want that specific figure or wouldn't support it anyway. That it's like, they want what they can't have until they get it, but then they still don't want it, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's very confusing. It's like, I think the main two characters from the new era that get cropped up, or pop up and or crop up quite a bit is the Sacha Dhawan figure, because of the head sculpt and the costume and stuff, that everyone just insists that would be super easy, and then the Ruth Doctor, and yeah, sure, it doesn't look particularly good on the character options part, but then there was an email that came out that said, like, oh, we don't have to license the new series stuff anymore, but then they corrected that and said, no, actually, we do have the license for it. So I just think, personally, I think as a business, it makes more sense to just focus on stuff that people are obviously willing to buy. And at the end of the day, if I'm not mistaken, the sort of B&M 3-packs of the 13th Doctor Friends, or of the 13th Doctor, or whatever it was called, that 3-pack and that one with the Ryan, Yaz and the Jadoon, those ones usually end up being, for lack of a better term, peg warmers, and by that I mean ones that just sit on the shelves for ages, whereas, like, Dalek, History of the Dalek sets and the TARDIS and the Doctor sets and the triple packs of classic monsters, or like this one in this case, sell a lot better or fly off the shelves a lot better and sell more. So what are you going to do? That the thing that sells more or the thing that doesn't, but there are people being vocal about it online, so it's difficult as well, because it's like they don't want to piss off those people, but by the same token they don't want to just piss off the majority of people who are voting with their wallet, but they don't want to piss off the people who do like the new series, because some of them might be young fans as well, which is another reason why I think the price is usually within a decent range of money, I think, for sort of teens and young people to get hold of the figures, I think. I mean, yeah, sure, the figures aren't, $5.99, $6.99, $9.99 anymore like they used to be. But then again, you are getting a triple pack of, Ryan, Yaz, and like a Jadoon and that. So 20 quid for that, I think, is decent. And maybe if you're a really good 12-year-old kid and you're into Doctor Who, then that would be, okay. But the other thing, I guess the other thing people were complaining about, before I forget, is that the fact that we're getting 3 of just the exact same figure. And as for the price of this one, this triple pack, it's a Character Options online exclusive, so it's only on their website, and that you can get this. I think it retails for $29.99, so it is a bit more expensive than the normal $19.99 of a triple pack at B&M. But then, by the same token, the plus side is that it's just on the website. You just have to click and collect, or click and order it. It is limited to 5,000 units though, so that's, I guess, the caveat there as well. And you are having to pay more, and then they're a bit more exclusive in the sense that they're only making 5,000 of them, whereas clearly with the B&M sets they make more than that, maybe, I don't know, 10, 15,000, let's say, like just random numbers. I don't know that if that's true or not, but you know, if anything, before I forget, I'll go through the card back and or display, which is one of the few, if not only, displays in recent years that I'm keeping, if at all. You know, I think I've kept some in the past, but they've kind of got crumpled up or destroyed or mangled, or you know, just all sorts of weird shit happens to them and that. But yeah, it kind of takes me back, this diorama of like the old school triple packs back in Forbidden Planet days, and that's another thing. Back then, when old Doctor Who was exclusive of a planet, it was a lot more expensive. It was more like the 20, 30, 40 quid, pounds sort of thing then, and that because I think maybe old Doctor Who was a bit more niche then, or maybe as well, like, maybe character thought because they were with Forbidden Planet they could up the prices because they were more aimed at collectors, and then the new stuff, new series stuff at the time, so sort of still latter end of David Tennant into Smith and stuff, was more aimed at kids, and that they were still relatively cheap, whereas the classic stuff was more expensive, I guess. But yeah, anyway, all that politics and weird hoo-ha and nonsense aside, the Warriors of the Deep set has this really cool diorama with this like sort of eye view sort of telescope sort of thing where you can see the other sea base, and then there's this bit of the door and the little slimy sort of green illuminescent, isn't the right word, sort of diorama sort of thing. Really cool sort of thing, you know. It adds to the to the cost, I guess, or to the value, actually, not the cost, but the value of the set, I think, personally. You know, because like, it's just a nice display piece and a diorama and that, and you know, clearly the people who made it are fans of the episode and that, or maybe of the era at least. And yeah, sure, you get 3 of the same figure, but one of them is slightly different. This one has the red eye at the top of the head, the other 2 have the black one. And also it saves you having an army build as well, because you're getting 3 same monsters predominantly. And that, and I know a major criticism of a lot of character options stuff recently. I know Return of the Rocket Man, I think his YouTube handle and or name is excuse me, has often criticised and or made the valid criticism of, like, you know, character options using the same head sculpt, or not using the same head sculpt, but maybe the body sculpt and then the head is new, but you know, like reusing stuff and that in the triple packs for B&M, and it's like, okay, it's like I'm 50-50 on that. At the end of the day, if they want to try and save money, then that's their choice, I guess. You know, as fans, yeah, sure, we want new, but that's not always possible, you know. And then the irony is that we get new and then people get pissed, apparently. But the point being that, yeah, when we get new, that wasn't a dig at the Return of the Rocket Man. He's a great YouTuber, by the way, you should check him out. But the Silurian head sculpt is just phenomenal, you know. It looks the part, it looks really good. On my one, this one does kind of move a bit, like, which is kind of weird because I don't think the other 2's heads move that much. But yeah, you can tell what it is. It's although I'm not a massive fan of this design of the Silurians, I'll be honest, the head sculpt is just phenomenal, and I do kind of like, I don't know, it's one of those things where this figure is, to me at least, so cool and good at representing the costume that I'm reevaluating and or getting a almost reappraising it as I'm recording this video, the design of that costume and that, you know. It definitely is different from the previous one, from Doctor Who and the Silurians. However, the head is similar or more similar, I think, between the two. I think personally, I mean, it is different, but it's been a long time since I've seen either Warriors of the Deep or Doctor Who and the Silurians. To be fair, I like the fact that this has a pointing finger, although I think all three of them have that as well as the wrist communicator. The articulation is good for a figure, for this sort of figure. Arms can go out at the sides in full 360 around there. And as I say, the head doesn't move much, but the legs do go out at the sides. So you can have him try and do the splits in at the knees. And the sort of feet, fin things move 360 as well. And they stand up pretty good as well, because the bottom of the feet is fully sort of like flat, I guess, you know, similar to like the Vord or the Centaurites, and that. I think it's a good idea that they did this set, because I think Peter Davison wise, or 1980s wise, we don't have that many monsters really, other than Cybermen and Daleks. And for the longest time that was the case with the 60s. But obviously more recently we've had, as I just mentioned earlier, Vord and Centaurites. So, you know, you have Vord, Centaurites, Daleks and Cybermen, whereas, you know, in the 80s you mainly have just Daleks and Cybermen, but now you have Silurians and that as well. You know, and although I don't think these ones are as favoured as the original design, I don't think they're as hated as the newest one, the Matt Smith ones. I don't think. I could be wrong about that, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit baffling that they didn't do a Sea Devil, or maybe two Silurians and a Sea Devil, maybe, but I don't know. But then by the same token, it is kind of cool that, you know, we're getting a little group of them, I don't know what the plural of Silurians would be like, but yeah, I think the head sculpt is the main takeaway. That's like the coolest part of this figure, as well as some of the articulation for how limited it is because of the main sort of bodysuit / shell or costume bit there, the PVC. So I don't know. It's weird. It's like the guy again who I mentioned earlier, Return of the Rocket Man, said, "Is this part of is this armor or is this part of them?" You know, because again, I don't think they had that in the original series, but then don't in the newest iteration of the Silurians. So it's kind of weird. Like maybe that midsection of their body was specific to that story and or group of Silurians for some reason. You've also got all these like scales on the back, which I really like as well. You know, adds to that reptilian look and feel, and likewise on the head as well. You know, just really fun design, I guess. I mean, I'm just trying to think what, like, accessory wise, what we could have had. I mean, I guess, you know, maybe the reason why we don't have any accessories is because of the diorama and that, you know, but I don't know, do the Silurians have any weapons? I remember in Doctor Who and the Silurians they attack with, like, using some sort of psychic attack from the head third eye thing, and that I'm pretty sure that happens in Doctor Who and the Silurians, but it's been years since I've watched Warriors of the Deep, so I can't remember if they have any guns. I feel like the Silurians did, the Sea Devils did, but as for the Silurians, it's anyone's guess. The paint apps and the mouth as well, on the eyes and the mouth, it's just really good stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of slightly starting to sort of prefer this design over the newest iteration of the Silurians. But yeah, I don't really know what to say, like, rating wise, what I'd give this, but yeah, I'd say if you're wanting more classic Doctor Who figures on your shelf, then obviously it's a must buy. If you're not too keen on the 1980s era of Doctor Who, maybe it's a pass, maybe it's too expensive for you, maybe, I don't know. And that, I'm not sure, but I think they're doing well, pardon me, in terms of their sales, they're doing well. and that, you know, the 5,000 figures are flying off Character Options website sort of thing. So I think of the 3 Character Options on online exclusives, it's maybe the weakest, but then again, it's hard to say really, because it's like, this does then open up the opportunity to do so much more with, like, you know, the original Doctor Who and the Silurians, you know, like, do a Silurian or 2, or a Silurian, a Brigadier from that story, and a Pertwee, or Liz Shaw, a Silurian, and a Pertwee, or something, you know, which would be amazing for like $29.99 exclusive on Character Options website as an example. You know, but then the other 2 Character Options exclusives have been 2 Daleks from two sort of Daleks that kind of resemble and look like Pete Cushing Daleks, and then a TARDIS and a Doctor. So, you know, they're more sort of quintessentially Doctor Who than this set. So I don't feel like it's fair to compare and try and compare the all 3 of the sets, because the other 2 are just so much more sort of in the DNA of Doctor Who, if that makes sense. That even if you're the biggest fan of the Silurians and think this is a 10 out of 10 set, to your average Joe Blogs, this probably isn't, you know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please do comment, rate, and subscribe to the channel.